He just broke golf's biggest secret. Jon Rahm's shock decision could change the sport forever. For almost 3 years, one of the greatest golfers alive has been trapped inside a war he never asked to fight. Now, in the final weeks of the 2026 season, that war might be over, and the fallout could bring down an entire golf league. This is the story of Jon Rahm, and the decision that insiders say he's already made. Picture this. A 2-time major champion. A former world number 1. A man once ranked as the second highest paid athlete on the planet, with reported earnings north of $200 million. He walks away from the tour that built his legend, and signs on with the most controversial project in golf history. That's exactly what Jon Rahm did in December 2023. And now, less than 3 years later, sources close to the situation say he's about to walk away from that decision too. If that happens, it won't just be a headline. It could be the moment that finally breaks the league he joined, and it might just save his career on the biggest stages in the sport. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why golf insiders are calling this the most important domino in the entire LIV Golf saga. But before we get into the bombshell reports dropping this week, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. This story is moving fast, and you do not want to miss what happens next. To understand why this decision matters so much, you have to understand who Jon Rahm actually is. Rahm was born on November 10, 1994, in the small town of Barica, in Spain's Biscay province. He wasn't born into golf royalty. His path was built the hard way, through junior tournaments, college golf in the United States, and a relentless, fiery competitiveness that would eventually define his entire career. Wikipedia. That competitiveness paid off in historic fashion. In 2021, Rahm became the first Spanish golfer ever to win the US Open. Think about that for a second. Spain, the country of Seve Ballesteros, of Jose Maria Olazabal, legends who came agonizingly close to that specific trophy, had never produced a US Open champion until Jon Rahm did it. Wikipedia. He wasn't done. In 2023, he added a second major title at the Masters tournament, pulling on the green jacket that so many golfers spend their entire careers chasing and never touch. Wikipedia. By every traditional measure, Jon Rahm had made it. He was young, dominant, beloved by fans, and sitting at the very top of the golf world. And then he did something that shocked almost everyone. Later in 2023, fresh off his Masters win, Rahm joined LIV Golf. For those who haven't followed the saga, LIV Golf is the Saudi-backed breakaway league that split the golf world in two. Massive prize money, a shortened format, no cut, and a wave of controversy that followed every player who signed up. When Rahm joined, it wasn't just another player leaving the PGA Tour. It was arguably the single biggest domino to fall in the entire LIV versus traditional golf war. He was, at the time, one of the very best players alive, and his signature gave LIV a legitimacy it had been chasing since day one. By 2024, Forbes ranked him as the world's second highest paid athlete, a jaw-dropping validation, at least financially, of the leap he'd taken. But money was never the only question. The real question was always, what happens to a player's legacy, his major championship hopes, and his place on golf's biggest international stages, once he leaves the traditional tours behind? That question is now coming due. And the answer might not be what LIV Golf wants to hear. Here's where things get messy, and where you need to pay close attention, because the details matter. Golf has 3 major team competitions that fans live and die for, and the Ryder Cup is the crown jewel. Europe versus the United States, national pride on the line, no prize money, just glory. To even be eligible to play for Europe, golfers need standing with the DP World Tour, Europe's version of the PGA Tour. When players jumped to LIV, many of them lost that standing. Fines piled up. Suspensions followed. And for a while, it looked like Rahm's Ryder Cup career might simply be over, cut short right as he was entering his prime. But Rahm wasn't willing to let that happen without a fight. Earlier this year, in May, Rahm reached an agreement with the DP World Tour to maintain his membership and preserve his Ryder Cup eligibility. As part of that deal, he agreed to pay off the outstanding fines he'd accumulated since joining LIV back in 2024, and committed to playing in 5 European Tour events. Tennis World USA. Tennis World USA. It seemed like a workable compromise. Rahm could have his cake and eat it too, LIV Golf's money, and a path back to representing Europe on the biggest team stage in the sport. Except that compromise might already be falling apart. This is where the story turns into something much bigger. According to reporting from The Telegraph, insiders close to the situation are now almost resigned to losing Rahm from LIV Golf entirely, with a decision on his future expected within weeks, right as the 2026 season wraps up. Let that sink in for a moment. Not rumors from an anonymous message board. Not fan speculation. Reports from inside LIV Golf itself suggesting that one of their biggest signings, the very player whose arrival legitimized the league to skeptics everywhere, could be gone before the ink on next season's schedule is even dry. So why now? Why would Rahm, who's still one of the highest-earning athletes on the planet thanks to LIV, even consider walking away? Part of the answer is money and structure. Reports suggest Rahm isn't a fan of LIV's proposed new direction for next season, a scaled-back schedule of only 10 events, with significantly smaller prize funds than golfers have grown used to. For a competitor used to playing at the highest level with the biggest incentives on the table, that kind of downsizing is a red flag. But there's a second, arguably bigger factor. The DP World Tour itself is changing the rules of the game. The DP World Tour has reportedly told Rahm and other LIV players that the special conditional deal they signed this year, the one allowing them to play both LIV and DP World Tour events without penalty, will not be extended into next season. In other words, the bridge Rahm built back in May might only last one more year. If he wants long-term certainty about his Ryder Cup future, staying loyal to LIV Golf might no longer be a viable option. Now here's where the stakes escalate even further, because this isn't just about one golfer's schedule. This is about the survival of an entire league. LIV Golf has been struggling to stay financially afloat without the same level of backing from Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund that once defined the project. Rahm leaving wouldn't just be a public relations hit, it could directly threaten the league's ability to secure future funding. There are reports of a new investor stepping in, publicly confirmed by LIV Golf CEO Scott O'Neill, but the scale of that new investment reportedly falls far short of the enormous sums the league became known for in its early years. And the warning signs don't stop there. Just this past week, LIV Golf reportedly canceled its season-ending team championship, which had been scheduled for late August in Michigan. There have also been reports of LIV Golf contractors and vendors going unpaid for extended periods, with demand letters from lawyers reportedly being ignored entirely.